Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a conflict that isn't just about territory or politics, it's about economics. It's a battle that's being decided by calculators just as much as it is by cannons.
So let's start with this number, $4 million. That's about what it costs for just one single advanced air defense missile, something like a Patriot. This is the absolute peak of high-tech defense, designed to take down the most sophisticated threats out there.
And then there's this number, $20,000. That's the price tag on the threat it's now being used to shoot down. A simple, mass-produced suicide drone. Do the math. For the cost of launching one defensive missile, an adversary can throw 200 of these things at you.
And that leads to this fundamental question. How do you win a war you can't afford to fight? This isn't just a hypothetical. This simple, brutal math problem is reshaping conflict all over the globe. Today, we're going to look at how nations are desperately trying to solve it, because the answer could really redefine who holds power in the 21st century.
This incredible imbalance. This is the very heart of what military strategists call asymmetric warfare. It's a strategy that's as old as war itself, but it's been absolutely turbocharged by modern, cheap technology.
So what is it, really? Well, it's not about having the biggest, baddest weapon on the field. It's about making your opponent's victory so incredibly expensive that it basically becomes a defeat. The whole goal is to bleed their treasury dry, one $4 million missile at a time.
And these drones are the perfect tool for the job. Just look at how they weaponize simplicity. That lawnmower engine, that's not a flaw, it's a feature. It gives it a really low heat signature. They fly so low and slow they can actually slip right under a sophisticated radar that's looking for jets. It turns a multi-million-dollar defense system into a massive economic liability. This is classic disruptive innovation, but for warfare.
So when you're facing these totally unsustainable costs, what do? You innovate, and you do it at lightning speed. Nations are being forced to get creative, to find cheaper, smarter ways to win. Let's take a look at how two key hotspots, Israel and the UAE, are really leading the way in this new low-cost arms race.
And the biggest shift we're seeing is from what's called kinetic defense, physically hitting something with a bullet or missile, to directed energy. One is all about expensive, limited ammo. The other is all about just having a power source. This simple change completely rewrites the entire cost equation of a battle.
In Israel, this shift is just dramatic. Their famous Iron Dome is great, but each shot is 50 grand. Now look at their new Iron Beam laser system. It takes the cost of an intercept from $50,000 all the way down to just $2. And with a power source as its only limitation, defending against a massive swarm of drones suddenly becomes economically possible for the first time.
And you see a similar story in the UAE. They're moving away from these F-grade, completely unsustainable missile defenses and toward A-plus solutions. They're using Apache helicopters with 30mm chain guns. We're talking about $500 an engagement. And they're also embracing lasers. It's all about using the right tool for the job, not just the most expensive one.
And this just brilliantly illustrates the creativity that's bubbling up from this new challenge. You've got electronic warfare like GPS spoofing, which basically tricks a drone into thinking it's somewhere else, making it crash harmlessly. We're seeing drone-on-drone dogfights, and even a return to simple things like mobile gun trucks. It's a wild mix of high-tech and low-tech, all focused on solving that one core problem, the cost.
Okay, so this new toolkit isn't just for protecting military bases. The exact same math problem is now playing out on the high seas, and it's threatening to paralyze the global economy. The flashpoint is the Strait of Hormuz, that narrow waterway where a huge chunk of the world's oil has to pass through.
And as of March 2026, the threats from drones and sea mines in this waterway have pretty much halted tanker traffic. And the result? Well, oil prices have spiked, sending these massive shockwaves through the entire global economy.
So the world's powers are responding, but it's not with all-out war. Their actions are targeted, and they're mostly economic. You've got France providing armed escorts. The UK is deploying these cool autonomous mine-hunting drones. And China is using its leverage as a top oil buyer to push for diplomacy. The goal here isn't conquest, it's much simpler. Lower the insurance risk and get the ships moving again.
And for the ships themselves, survival now depends on having a layered, low-cost defense plan. This even includes simple kinetics defenses like cope cages, and that's literally chain-link fences welded around critical areas to make a drone detonate before it can actually hit the hull. Every single vessel is now trying to become a harder target.
So what does this all really mean? What's the big picture? Well, we're watching a fundamental change in the nature of conflict. The old rules are being rewritten right before our eyes.
You know, when you boil it all down, the strategies that are winning now are the ones that are affordable, that are scalable, and that are sustainable. It's all about finding the cheapest, most effective way to counter the threat, whether that's a cutting-edge laser or just a good old-fashioned machine gun on the back of a pickup truck.
And here's the crucial takeaway in all of this. Victory may no longer go to the side with the most advanced gee-whiz technology. It might just go to the side that can actually afford to keep fighting. Not just today, but tomorrow and the next day and the day after that. It's a war of attrition, all right? But it's one being fought on spreadsheets.
And that kind of leaves us with a final, pretty sobering thought. As this drone technology spreads and gets cheaper and cheaper, the math problem we've been talking about today, it won't just be for nations fighting over strategic waterways. It's going to be a problem for cities, for companies, and maybe, eventually, for all of us. Thanks for watching.